Today on the newscast, did Israel carry out airstrikes in Yemen during Operation Breaking Dawn? Plus, why a growing number of Israel's Christian minority are joining the Israel Defense Forces. That's next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. A very interesting statement today by the Chief of Staff of the Israel Defense Forces, Aviv Kohavi. He was speaking at a conference about Israel's recent operation against Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorists in Gaza, and he talked about its successes, including the elimination of several top Islamic Jihad commanders in Gaza and the arrest of Islamic Jihad operatives in the West Bank, a region we refer to here on the newscast as Judea and Samaria, Israel's biblical heartland. But then Kohavi dropped a very interesting nugget. He said that during Operation Breaking Dawn, Israel also, quote, attacked a third country. Now, this would mean a country not along Israel's immediate borders, and folks, he was most likely referring to Yemen. Why do I say that? Well, on August 7th, as Operation Breaking Dawn was still raging, Middle Eastern media outlets reported a large explosion outside the Yemeni capital, Sana'a. According to these outlets, a terror training camp run by Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels was targeted, and at least 6 Iranian and Lebanese trainers were killed. By Lebanese, they presumably mean Hezbollah. According to one Saudi outlet, dozens of Houthi fighters were also killed. Now, some reports said that the blast was caused by a Houthi ballistic missile that exploded while it was being redeployed, but folks, you have to wonder if this was an Israeli airstrike of some sort. Look, Yemen lies over 1,000 miles to the south of Israel, but the Israeli Air Force has carried out long-distance missions before, including taking out Iranian weapons shipments moving through Sudan in years past and against Iranian assets in eastern Syria and western Iraq more recently. And of course, as we've reported many times here in the newscast, Israel has been preparing for the ultimate long-distance bombing run against Iran's nuclear facilities. And hey, Israel was concerned enough about the Houthis' growing arsenal of missiles and attack drones last year that it reportedly deployed the Iron Dome missile defense system near the southernmost Israeli city of Eilat. Remember, the Houthis are an Iranian proxy and part of that Iranian armed ring of fire that surrounds Israel. And both during last May's Hamas war and the operation against Islamic Jihad earlier this month, the Houthis declared that they wanted to join the fight against Israel. This is really no surprise, folks, coming from a group whose official motto is Allah is greater, death to America, death to Israel, a curse on the Jews, and victory to Islam. How nice. Now, we're keeping a very close eye on this, and we'll update you with any breaking details in the meantime. Since we're talking about the Israel Defense Forces and the threats gathering against the Jewish state, I wanted to share a very important interview that we did on last week's episode of the Watchman Show on TBN. Shadi Haloul heads up the Israeli Christian Aramaic Association. That's right, Aramaic, the language of Jesus. The Aramaean Christian community in Israel traces its faith to the earliest days of Christianity, and Shadi is helping them and other Israeli Christians take an even stronger stand for the Jewish state where they all reside. It's an amazing story. Here's more from Jerusalem.
Generally, the people used to speak Aramaic until they become Arabic speakers because of the Islamic invasion in the 7th century to our lands in Israel, in the Middle East, in Lebanon. These lands were Aramaic speaking before. So I work with, of course, the community. I am fully advocating for it to be integrated in Israel, in our state of Israel. And of course, the best way to integrate a community like us as a minority is IDF. You can find any person from any background, both genders, serving the country for one goal: to defend Israel and keep it safe and secure for all citizens. you develop recognition between each others. They would know you as a Christian with Christian faith, and you know about them as Jews and their faith.
You were a captain in the Israeli
I was a captain in the paratroopers. My time, I did it in 1993 when there were only 5 people, Christians in the IDF. And I became the first Christian officer in the paratroopers, giving authority and orders to Jews, at least 40 of them, and later on to 120 of them. I did a very unique program, Eric, the pre-military educational leadership program for Jews and Christian in the land of Israel. Christian and Jews from both genders. They learn about each other. They learn how to be a good Israeli leaders together in the IDF and in the society as well. They train themselves better how to become good soldiers to defend Israel. 19 officers. I graduated already 250 youth and recruited them to the IDF through this program only in the last 5 years.
It seems like you've had a tremendous response among the Christian community. And what's the response been from those in the IDF and the average Israeli? A lot of appreciation, or what kind of response do you
Well, the majority of Jews that respect what you do, and they love what you do, and they support you as well. And you have sometimes the Arab nationalist or the Islamic nationalist or extremist, that they don't like our actually process of integrating Christians and uniting Christian and Jews together and defending the country and make a better understanding and a better life.
Personal threats for what you're doing.
They don't accept us as Christians who want to serve the state of Israel, our state, the only state, democratic state in the region that actually we feel safe in it, secure, and we have also obligation, since we are secure in it, to defend it. Otherwise, if this state is weakened, we all also will not exist. Not only the Jews are threatened here, we as a Christian are threatened. So it's our responsibility to protect this country, to keep it stronger, and also advocate for our full rights as citizens of the state of Israel without neglecting any of these values.
Shadi, thank you so much for everything you're doing. Keep it up. We're praying for you. God bless you, my friend. Great to be with you in Jerusalem. Thank you, Shadi. Thanks again to Shadi Haloul for all the great work he's doing with the Israeli Christian Aramaic Association. Hey, if you like that interview with Shadi and you want to see more like it, be sure to tune in to our weekly 30-minute show on TBN every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and then again on Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Today is Thursday, so we will have a brand new episode tonight on TBN. Again, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you love the newscast, you will love our 30-minute weekly show where we are in Jerusalem, on the Gaza border, the Lebanon border, the Syria border, and points beyond, bringing you the on-the-ground perspective and analysis from the land of Israel. So be sure to tune in. Hey, thanks for joining us today here on the newscast. Until tomorrow, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.